doesn't have ashes on his head because it's Ash Wednesday. He just went to his place in Malibu. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on the church. Get it on. Get it on. We'll talk a lot about the UFC today. And our local boy makes good story. Nick Davis is back. Returned to his old stomping grounds. Nick worked here for a while. Then he moved. And then he produces Theo Von's podcast and had incredible success there. I got to believe you're a big part of that success, Nick Davis.
Absolutely. Complete lateral move from your lackey to Theo's lackey, and I just implemented all your discipline there.
Smart.
And
Nice.
it worked well.
Nick, we're here for, how long were you here?
2 years, but it seemed like a lot longer for me because it was my first 2 years in LA.
And you just wanted to know, was podcasting like you were attracted to it? You were attracted to comedy? Like what was the plan?
I realized, I've thought a lot about this since. I was obsessed with sports talk radio. Mm-hmm. When I was 12, I would call into this one show, ESPN All Night with John Chalesnik, and it aired from 2 to 6 a.m. on Friday and Saturday mornings. And I would listen when my grandma was visiting her boyfriend in Iowa, so I could stay up all night and listen to the computer. And I would call in, and when I was 12, I was a Hall of Fame listener, Nick from Wisconsin, at the show from 2 to 6 a.m. And like, that just transferred to podcasts. I was listening to you. You were my favorite show when I got hired, and I kind of didn't have a future in LA. I was working like a 9 to 5, making like $45,000 a year, and I was just like, I didn't see a future. And I was obsessed with podcasting. I have letters I wrote to like Podcast One in like 2014 before I moved out here, where I thought the industry was going and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was a chance, and I quit my job and moved out here and lived in my car.
Well, it just goes to show you got to follow that passion, and you just never know where it's going to end up. I mean, Theo's show is just blown up in just the last couple of years, and it was around for a few years before that. So it's kind of hard to say, oh, this will work or this is not going to work, or if it doesn't work in the first couple of years. Like, it's interesting. Like, and nobody can really figure it out. It's kind of like when people say, I want to do a video and I want it to go viral. Like, well, you don't have any control over that. And if somebody had control over videos going viral, they'd be the richest person in the world, probably. But and then momentum kind of begats itself. Like when people, celebrities, podcasts, they get on a roll, then you get on a roll, and then you attract better guests, and there's a certain winner's mentality or something. But I don't know, how would you describe that explosion of success in Theo's podcast?
I think if my career, Theo's podcast is kind of like your theory when Pete Davidson gets laid by someone hot in Hollywood, then everybody thinks they're a commodity, and it just kind of, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. Yeah,
it is, because everything, it's almost in a way it's like comedians, but it's in a way it's like almost everything in a lot of sports and MMA too. You know, there's not a huge chasm between this podcast and this fighter and that fighter. You know, in F1, it's a couple tenths of a second. That's really, it's not like, well, that guy can't drive. No, that guy he can drive. That other guy's 2/10 better than him, or for some reason captured some zeitgeist or something. And it's incredible. And I don't know how to explain it other than we're human beings, and maybe we're a little more animal than we think, and we vibe with things, and we also follow, like, we like a little momentum. You know what I'm saying? And Theo has captured that momentum, and so people are like, oh yeah.
That momentum really started like my last year here. That's where I met him. And like you said, he kind of had another podcast at the time called Allegedly. He did with some TMZ reporter, but that didn't catch on. But he went on Rogan a couple times. Hilarious on Rogan. His clips started going viral. And then famous people would see his clips and then they'd be willing to come on, and it takes like one person to make that leap where it's like, okay, he's in the Cool Kids Cup. Have you seen, there's this kid Matan, he's a little troll. He went viral for like talking to some OnlyFans girls on some podcast.
Never heard of him.
He's like, name 10 books, and they couldn't do it. But now this kid has a podcast where he brings on comedians. He trolls the shit out of him, tries to make him look like an idiot for an hour, but he keeps getting a bigger and bigger name. I'm like, why are these comedians going on there to take this abuse?
Well, probably because I went on it last year.
That might have started it.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was great.
Did he troll you?
Did he troll me? Nah. It was weird. He didn't even try.
Probably afraid, but that
No,
would be
I the whole time, yeah. I never caught him trolling me once.
that'll be my first thing I watch when I get out of here then.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
It's a good time to talk combat sports because we got a big fight coming up this weekend. And at Nick's show, he's doing on YouTube.
I'm super pumped that you're here, dude. I want to hear your opinion. Like, I love broadcasting mixed martial. There's a throng of them, and you're an early adopter.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because whenever I talk to someone who's actually done it, the man in the arena, I feel a little silly. I haven't trained
well,
today.
I can give some insight that you know what I mean? And, you get the thinking man's version. Every day I still fight. Yeah. Yesterday was a 2-hour go. I didn't, I got Muay Thai, didn't feel like I had enough out of there. I did jiu-jitsu with everybody. Just a regular student.
Training guys.
Coach, listen, I was just a regular student yesterday. I listened to the coach over there. I just did what he did, fell along. And then whoever was my partner, I gave him some tips. Mm-hmm. And it was good because it was like it was athletic dudes that weren't very adept at martial arts yet, but I can get them there.
So the fight coming up this weekend, I don't know where it is. I don't know if there's a time difference. I don't know how much the pay-per-view buy is. I was thinking of possibly getting a fight and having a few guys watch it because that's always a good time, unless it's in Dubai and you want them to come by 10 in the morning because who wants to drink at 10 in the morning?
I streamed a live card that was in China overnight with my girlfriend, 2 to 8 a.m. We had a mattress in my room, and we watched every fight. It was a banger card. No one saw it. But.
2 to 8 a.m. And so 7 p.m., it's T-Mobile, it's Las Vegas, it's here. Is it going to be a good card?
I think it's one of the best they could put on.
Yeah, the main event is going to answer some questions.
Absolutely. Like Alex Pereira, he's Alex.
And he wrestled.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think a fun lottery ticket, I get in the betting early, that's always where I end up, but Pereira round 5 subs plus 7,500, $10 to win 750. Some leg kicks, some gassing from Ankalaev.
I'm gonna give you cash. You drive to Vegas.
Will do. I got a guy.
Who's favorite here right now?
It's really close to even money. I thought Ankalaev because of the wrestling. He's a grappler, Dagestani, very Khabib-like, but he's got really good kickboxing, and that's what he prefers to do. But when he gets his back against the wall, he can go to the wrestling, and that's why I thought he was going to be like closer to a minus 200 favorite, but it's really close to even. I think he's kind of growing to the favorite.
Buddy, you know why that favorite line moved? That name, Pereira, Chama. This guy, everyone loves him. They're going to throw money on him.
He's got an aura, and he does get the public money.
But does he know how to wrestle?
Do you think he does?
No?
No.
No.
Well, I'm saying put all your money on Pereira.
He's become
out in the first round.
I like it. He's become the protege of Glover Teixeira, who's literally my favorite fighter of all time.
The grinder.
The grandpa of MMA.
He ain't no grandpa, but that's a beast of a man. That's a caveman born to do this job. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But he just received his black belt from him, so I don't know. People.
All right.
Some people from his camp say his grappling's better than people think.
If he cannot wrestle, fine. Can he jiu-jitsu? If he can flow on the ground, you know what I mean, and survive every round and then you got to start on your feet every time. You got to start on your feet. So if he can survive round 2, 3, you know what I mean? Jiu-jitsu, stop the damage from coming in, get back up, make him wear out. Now you got to kickbox tired, then Pereira's going to win. Yeah, but, the common sense says the wrestler guy will be able to survive. The knockout is the big, scary question mark for Ankalaev.
And Jan Blachowicz and Ankalaev fought. They fought to a draw for the vacated title. fought to a draw, and then because it was so boring, they didn't give either one of them a shot for it again. But Ankalaev really should have been the number one. But in that fight, he was really damaged by some of the leg kicks by Jan, and I think that could come into play here.
Now you, I know for sure, have watched more Ankalaev fights than I have. How's his chin?
He rarely gets hit, honestly.
Because his wrestling, he closed the distance if it becomes a heated exchange, right?
And he can point fight. Before he started getting into 5-rounders, he was getting a reputation as a boring fighter going to decisions.
Dagestani technician, kick, like they do a karate hybrid or some type of strange European style kickboxing mixed with their wrestling. I know it's a strange thing to deal with. Pereira, I'm sure, throughout all his kickboxing fights, has fought that style before, so he's going to be like reading that. He's going to be reading that, so it'll be a nice stand-up exchange. But I'm just worried about Ankalaev just pushing the clinch all the time, pushing a takedown and we've seen Pereira been taken down before and kind of hold on, not flow jiu-jitsu.
Let me ask you guys a question, which is, you can make it a boring fight and win if that in fact is all you want is the W, but historically there's been guys who got a lot of W's, but they're making business decisions and they're playing it safe, or they're doing it in a way that's not crowd pleasing. So then you'd have to go, well, on one hand, what do you want? And you go, well, I want wins. I want to be a champion, and with the wins and the champion strap, so then comes the money and the accolades. But not if you do it in a super boring way. You'd almost be better off chancing a loss in an exciting way. I mean, there's fight of the night, that's $50,000 or whatever they're paying. But it's not just whatever it is I can do to win, even if the crowd is booing, is it? I mean, some guys are that way, but don't guys have to balance it between crowd is booing and I've got to put my chin out a little bit, because there is a better financial payday if you are deemed an exciting action fighter versus a guy who has a lot of wins who's a boring fighter.
But I think that that's a philosophical question.
It is. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Is the personality hard set? Is a guy who takes chances? Like in my career, I took so much chances, did some crazy stuff, lost fights I should have won because I was really trying to wow the crowd.
Right.
And I think of myself, could I have way back when changed my personality to go, okay, I'm going to be very disciplined and only do this and only, work takedowns, only, totally flip the, why? I couldn't. I don't think I could. It seems like the Dagestani will be disciplined no matter what. That's how he is. And Pereira will go and try to land bombs.
I think the perfect example of both kind of directions you can go. Take your chances, be exciting, get the big fights. Yeah. That's Justin Gaethje. He is an extremely technical kickboxer, great wrestler. We've only seen him attempt maybe one takedown in the UFC, but he gets the big fights. He's going to be exciting. It's kill or be killed. Whereas, and I think Ankalaev is a good representation of the other side. These Dagestani guys, they don't get pushed by the UFC. They'll win and they'll just kind of stay at a level for a while. They don't speak English. They're not marketable. But I think they eventually just grind it out where they become undeniable.
That's what I mean. The Khabib method.
Yeah, exactly. If you do 12 in a row, they have to give you a title shot because people are going to be pissed.
Right. You're just going to keep winning, stacking up, win after win after win, because nobody knows how to wrestle that good yet.
All right, shifting gears, but something that I was thinking about because these two stories were in the news.
Can I give one more fight?
Oh, sorry.
Super quick. Just a guy I think you should watch. I think he'll be on the prelims. Josh Van. I know you're a boxing purist. He has some of the best boxing in the UFC.
What weight? See,
125. Really small guy.
Oh, well, so he's real technical. I mean, he looks sharp.
Yeah, and I sent Andrew a link. There's one highlight, but his boxing is crisp. He works the body. He has an incredible gas tank. And you don't see boxing that's good technical boxing that often in the UFC. Every year it gets better, and you can pick out guys who have it. Jack Della Maddalena, who's fighting for a title, great boxer. But I love this kid. He's 23. For the first time in his career, he's fighting someone who's younger than him, Japanese junior Olympic wrestler Ray Suya.
Striker versus grappler.
Yeah, and I think he'll eventually wear him out, gas him out. There'll be some body lock takedowns.
What camp is he from? I'm not familiar with him.
God, what camp? I think he's the first city? Burmese fighter, but he's someplace in the U.S. now.
Great.
Yeah, it's easier. Short guys with short limbs look so much better boxing than long guys with
the
long.
Little guy. Yeah,
oh
like,
my god!
Like you're
it's
fighting
so
a
much
bumblebee.
better. It's so much better looking.
Oh, here we go.
Than. Although
he's out the way.
He's in the black shorts.
The Klitschko's are the only guys who were tall that really punch straight, and it worked. Ended up working out pretty nicely for those two. Yeah,
there's a lot of
left body, that kind of
sharp
stuff.
Jab,
yeah.
There's a lot of tall fighters who do not utilize the straight punches well enough.
Oh, yeah.
And then another thing I like to see with a guy who has a big reach advantage in MMA is stepping elbows, because the other guy has to crash forward. He's going to be getting down, and elbows and knees, because when they get in tight, you can't throw a straight punch.
Right. A good old Polish elbow, I learned. I think it's making a comeback where you just punch it straight. Now the key is to open your hand while you do it, so you get that sharp part of the elbow. Hopefully, get a cut on the face.
All right, now from all this violence to other forms of assault. So I was watching, there was a big story when Adrian Brody won the Oscar, and then he went back, and I think Halle Berry and him reenacted their kiss from 20 years earlier when he'd won the Oscar, and she, I guess, presented, but she was on stage, and then he circled back, and then he went back and planted one on her, which is, I don't know, 20 years ago, 22 years ago. It was sort of simpler times, like nobody made a big deal out of everything, but we might have that. I don't know. Yeah, we have her planning one on him after the Oscars, this Oscars. So she sort of found him and planted one on him, but it was an homage or a callback to the actual Oscars from 20 years earlier, where Adrian, and you can find the clip somewhere in there, Andrew, where Adrian planted one on her on stage. Now, this was like a reenactment of the old one, but the old one was more spontaneous, but nobody cared. Is the answer, but it was a big one, like what Adrian Brody did to Halle Berry without consent was a pretty big smooch on stage, and it was sort of whether she liked it or not. He circled back. We must have it somewhere, Andrew, talking about this stuff for the show, okay? Yeah, we'll have that. And this is, I don't know.
Is the first Academy Award and nomination for Adrian Brody.
Now, I don't know if he did it after his speech or before his speech, or he just ran over and did it. Oh, here he goes. He just runs up and he puts a big one on her. Okay. And nobody cared. All right. So, also, I've seen a lot of guys kiss a lot of other guys in the audience on the lips, but okay. The soccer president of Spain, that guy just had his trial for celebrating on a podium in front of 80,000 people after winning the championship with the women's soccer.
You want me to get on it?
You got that. We might have the vid somewhere. The story is insane. It's sort of out of body, otherworldly insane. If you watch. All right, this guy is standing on the podium, and it's you can pause it for a second. It's basically a receiving line. You are the president, you stand on the podium. You stand next to the coach or the head of FIFA or whatever it is. The girls line up, and as they walk across the podium, there's hugs and kisses for all who come across the podium, which is what this guy did. He has a girl hugging him, and maybe we can see it. Is it number 11? that he's giving it to?
Yes.
They'd
You
have
pay
Richard
attention
Dawson.
right here.
They've had Richard Dawson tied up like Hannibal Lecter.
Oh my God! On a refrigerator dolly to move him in and out of the studio for Family Feud. All right, yeah, let's just watch it again. He grabs her, hugs her, kisses her.
Like a tight-lipped
by the way,
kiss.
slaps her on the back. She's hugging him, and she's slapping him on the back. Okay. Nothing happened here. Nothing happened here. Now, it's not. Oh, okay. Whose fault is this? The fault is of the people. We as a human species need to claim our society back in the name of sanity.
Yeah.
It's all the scared people that go along with this shit. So, what was the story, Andrew or Dawson, that you read me, Andrew, from earlier today? He was okay. So this bitch first said it was nothing. He's a good dude, and I don't know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the feminazi mob got to her and made her cave, which, by the way, makes you weak, people. It means you have no constitution. It means you're sad. And it means you have no fucking spine. And it is, by the way, the opposite of every book and novel that's ever written and every hero that's ever been to war. You caved, you pussed out, and you did the wrong thing. Which is your initial blush it was nothing. And by the way, if she'd stuck to her guns and kept saying this wasn't a thing, move on, we would have moved on. But they got to her, and she fucking caved. She has no dignity. Oh, God. It drives.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to pride. What happened to character? Like, what happened to character? Where someone just went. You know, it's like you get rear-ended at 4 miles an hour, you know, and you get out of the car and you go, oh man, yeah, there's no real damage here. I got to get on. I gotta roll with Mayhem down at the gym, and then you get out and you go roll with Mayhem down at the gym, and then you in the locker room and you're getting out of the shower, and one of Mayhem's students who's an attorney steps out of the shower and he goes, geez, yeah, someone dinged up your bumper, and you go, yeah, some guy tapped me from behind on the way to the dojo. And he goes, I could get you paid for that. And you go, what do you mean? Oh, I can get you $100,000. And you go, oh, well, but the car's fine. How's your neck? You know, actually feels a little bit stiff about now. Well, go ahead. Tell you what, I got a neck brace out in my car. Put this on. We'll take a photograph of you. What happened to your dignity? What the fuck happened to your dignity? What happened to everybody?
Yeah.
When did everyone become super weak and super sad?
Yeah.
And so fucking pliable? It's the opposite of everything whenever we discuss. Has there ever been a funeral where the guy went, Brad was great. He was a good man. He didn't really have much dignity, and he could be bought pretty easily, and he did have some fraudulent insurance claims. But other than that, decent dad, unless someone gave him $10, and then he'd be a shit dad, because he'd basically do what you wanted for, or he was scared of everyone all the time, so he just kind of went along. You know, I remember he didn't think wearing paper mask outside was a good idea, but he was too big a puss to say anything, so he just did it. Has anyone been eulogized that way?
That one hits home.
The two worst descriptors men can have is sniveling and litigious. And if you get a sniveling, litigious guy, there's a guy doing this, extorting my girlfriend right now, actor, is trying to claim missed auditions and charging $10,000 per missed auditions. He has ne'er a credit on IMDb, but the insurance is basically laughing at him. But yeah,
even trying, you just want to go like.
Everyone's in a Facebook focus group now, so you have everybody telling you what you should do and what they think about you getting smooched on the lips by your coach.
I had a guy worked in the other building, got fired or whatever, and then he just claimed racial discrimination, and it's like
not the one I fought, was it?
I didn't know what I didn't know what the guy was.
Oh.
He was from somewhere. I don't know what he was. He wasn't black. He was like something.
Queer.
Never talked to him about it. Like, I don't even know what he's doing. But then they have whole lawyers that just do this for a living, which is a sadder part because you're fucking professional. This is your profession. All right. Do we have the story, Dawson?
Yes, we have the story.
Or Andrew.
Yes, Spain's High Court found him guilty of sexual assault and fined him U.S. dollars $10,434 for the crime.
He was guilty of sexual assault for celebrating fully clothed on a podium in front of 80,000 people while he was being filmed by kissing a woman on the lips who was embracing him at the same time for a millisecond, and has been suspended for 3 years and has been drummed out of the league after winning the World Cup as the president.
Maybe they just didn't like him.
Okay, so sorry. It's not his fault. It's not her fault. It's not the judge's fault. It's everyone else's fault but mine, who will not fucking stand up and start screaming about this shit. And by the way, Spain is further gone than we are, evidently. But what else happened in this story? Well, he's got this story. Sorry, we'll do both.
Yeah, it's fine. Well,
sorry.
Go, Andrew, go.
Andrew, go.
The judge said that this instance was of minor intensity.
Yes, meaning zero.
So it was just going to be a fine, not a actual crime with a prison sentence.
But there's more to the story because the prosecutors were shooting for. They wanted to incarcerate this guy for 3 years.
Yeah, Jenny Hermosa, the soccer player, got kissed. She just wants to go hard in the paint and get jail time.
She wants jail time for this guy. What the fuck happened to this bitch? Like, did she have some sort of mind worm or something? What is she doing? Or did she just get co-opted by crazy, angry fucking lesbians that are trying to ruin all of society? Like, what is going on? Could you imagine fighting for jail time? But by the way, jail, you take away every right a person has and you put him in a cage for 3 years. He's the president of the Soccer Association who celebrated with you, you evil witch. And by the way, listen, have no sympathy for these people. Because people go, it happens all the time, where people go, the lawyers get to them, and then the people get to them, and then whatever. How about you tell those people to fuck off? You have some fucking dignity. And by the way, there's a tape of it. You can watch the tape. Nothing happened. Ugh. So she wants more time. She wants to revisit this assault? And what does the prosecutor want to do, Andrew?
The lawyer says if she wants to keep up the fight, she will. But again, they don't have a strategy moving forward.
Can I just say, they said minor intensity, but she looks of age to me. She's at least, that's no minor.
That's right. That is a senior intensity moment. All right. I'm just saying, everyone, I don't know. Is it a step toward the light? Is this progress? We'll take innocent guys and lock them up because everyone's too fucking scared to say bitches have gone nuts in the last 10 minutes and we got to reel this shit in. No, you don't believe every woman. No, you don't lock up innocent guys who've done nothing. And by the way, it takes every ounce of energy you spend on an innocent person is energy you could be putting toward actual rapists and actual assaults where there's actual victims. That's all.
That's how I feel about any issue on Twitter and my own life. Any time I spend on there getting pissed about something is something I'm not doing at home.
Does it make you money or does it make you happy? I told that to Teresa Strasser years ago. Changed her life.
Super fun on the toilet, though. X.
Well, look, if settling people's hash on Twitter makes you happy or makes you money, I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
No.
Dawson, you had a thought?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how historically corrupt the soccer programs are in world soccer. And it struck me as maybe before I thought possibly maybe somebody had it out for this guy and they want to. There's a coup going on in the Spanish Soccer Federation, but it takes away points from that argument if she's arguing for jail time.
Yeah.
It's like, did he do something really, like, was he super hated?
She has a statement.
I wouldn't be surprised if she was getting pressure from inside of a federation who's trying to make some changes.
I'm into that conspiracy.
Yeah, some of that.
Possible.
Also, there's the Federation of Angry Lesbians.
Yes.
The FAL.
Yeah, the FAL.
I just imagine them like hooligans in the
FAL,
jerseys and fighting
the
everyone.
FAL got to her
Yes, they
because
did.
she changed her story. And then she says, Hermoso, cry me a fucking river, bitch, says the unsolicited kiss from her boss. That's all. Everything's unsolicited when you're celebrating. Like anyone who gets the Gatorade dumped on them, not solicited. Part of the celebration. Champagne sprayed on them from the podium, unsolicited. Part of the celebration. It's called a spontaneous celebration. So we don't solicit and we don't take pre-orders and there's no layaway plan for celebration. It's called a spontaneous celebration, bitch. But it was. The commotion that followed tainted one of the happiest days of my life. So she says, but bitch, you could have shut up and then you could have enjoyed your victory.
She could have not only shut up, she could have shut it down.
She could have shut it down, yes. But now, and good job, Spain, and good job, ladies, on the soccer team, because no one remembers you winning anything. We just remember a frivolous lawsuit against the guy who didn't deserve it. So good job. And if you didn't want it tainted, then shut your fucking pie hole next time. Okay. Well, other than that, I got no thoughts about it. You guys are both. I experienced some pain the other night, which is. Bad design. There's nothing worse than bad design, like bad ergonomic design. I am displaced. By the way, we're coming up on it's the 2-month anniversary from the fires, and that'd be my displacement. And there's a couple things. I'm now living. I would say I'm living in a house or a townhouse that I would have rented with a buddy when I was working construction. That's basically my lavish life.
But to yourself this time.
Yes.
Big shooter.
Yeah. I'm a big shot living in some 80s condo.
Don't have to share a futon.
No, but we're getting to the futon. It's been 2 months. There's been zero cleanup in Malibu or beyond, and it's now raining again. So all the toxic shit that they're worried about, it's in the ocean. It's if it wasn't in the ocean on the last run, and I mean the last run were rivers flowing down those canyons, rivers to the sea, just like that Righteous Brothers song. Lonely river flow to the sea. Unchained Melody. Come on. You understand that one?
Don't know that one.
You do.
I might.
Dawson will find it, and you'll both know it, and then you can apologize to me.
Very well.
I first thought Hamas from the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea. Every piece of toxic anything that was ash. I mean, how much lighter do you get than ash?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Just poison.
Ash it's all covered in ash. It's all burnt to the ground. There's torrential rainstorms, and you've heard the term sea level. Sea level means low. It means the lowest. Nobody ever trains at altitude in Santa Monica. You have to go up into the mountains.
Yeah.
So it all goes into the sea, and it's all been washed in the sea. Now, if we'd been able to clean up the lots in a timely fashion, then A, we could get the fuck on with our lives, but B, all this shit wouldn't have gotten washed into the ocean, which, by the way, are these people's favorite place to talk about. The ocean, the dolphins, the sea life. What about the marine life? What about the Coastal Commission? Well, I don't know. All right. Okay. Come on now.
My dog.
Come on, man.
I
told you. I'll tell you the songs you know.
All right. You're right. I love this song.
I told you.
It's like, it's warming my
And don't
heart.
put it on me. I did a perfect rendition of this song. It was spot
I
on.
was waiting for you to hit the high note.
Well, as a matter of fact, you close your eyes, you might think I'm singing right
Wait,
now.
that's not you singing?
We don't know.
I thought this was you on the track.
Nick's closed his eyes.
I'm back in Greece, I feel like.
The movie or the country? See, lonely rivers flow to
He
the
said
sea.
Lonely River.
No, he'll get, Dawson will
It's
get
like-
me. He'll
See,
give that.
it's because it's like the deep cut, like the 6 chords of the lyrics.
Oh, meaning you already came and went
Yep,
home?
I already busted. I took
busted
the
and
VCR out of the tape, and it's Barney just
Done.
looking at me on the Channel 3.
All right, so Dawson will find it. Look, here's the point. It's raining again. Well, that's a Supertramp song, by the way. And it's all in the fucking ocean. And it's been 2 months. And they haven't moved a stitch of rubble out of that place. They've not moved one burnt futon out of that entire place.
How do we get it going, Ace? I'll go up there with a shovel.
You know, so it's a weird. It's a strange thing. Sorry, you got Lonely Rivers flows.
Oh, you're right.
To the sea.
Taking toxic ash to the sea. All right. We don't have anyone in charge. Like, there needs to be, you know what LA doesn't have? A traffic czar.
Yeah.
No one's in charge of traffic. If I was traffic czar, I'd have a whole bunch of shit and a whole bunch of ideas to implement. We don't have someone in charge of anything here. We got a bunch of dumb bitches who want to do process, who do nothing, who they don't want to do anything. So we're not going to do anything, and it's weird. But LA doesn't like people who do things. So we get angry at people who do things. They can't stand them. They can't stand dudes going, we got to come in here and here's what we're going to do. Listen to this. It's 2 months old now, but let's listen to this. Sorry. I just made a quick clip.
And the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't
Yes,
cost
and
a
they
lot.
can.
I just think you have to allow the people to go on their site and start the process tonight.
And we will.
Well, Mayor
All right. Wait, we're not. You're not going to let anyone do anything. Why would you? They don't. LA doesn't let anyone do anything. Why would you let people go to their own property and clear it out? But hey, bitch, it's all in the ocean now. So, good luck, dolphins. Have fun, tuna. Enjoy it.
To tie this all together, I actually have a joke written here. It's Karen Bass, it's fires, it's UFC.
Wow.
Francis the Fire Marshal is set for his featherweight bout against Myron Santos Saturday. Interestingly, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass weighed in on the young athlete, telling reporters, if he ever expects to fight in Los Angeles, I'm afraid he'll have to change his Fire Marshal nickname because, of course, he's not a giant lesbian.
That's a special joke for this occasion.
We appreciate it, bro.
All right, so
Dude, does everybody know that all the fire chiefs in LA are giant lesbians?
Buddy, we cover it extensively.
If anybody knows.
Did you know that one killed the other?
I did
Well, breaking news, bro. She did. Allegedly. The investigation is still ongoing.
One got fired and the other got killed by her husband wife.
Nope, yeah.
Or whatever.
Hubby wife, you're right. Exactamundo.
I do, though. I'll tell you, I do respect that lesbian couple because I don't like lesbian couples where one of them doesn't declare the male role in the lesbian couple. I like lesbian couples where one dude, one chick charades as a dude.
Yes.
Got the butch haircut, wears the flannels.
Only missing the mustache.
everything but the mustache.
Yeah.
Drives a Ram.
Yes.
Does all the always never riding shotgun. Beefy.
Yeah.
Beefy.
Jacket, frayed shoulders.
Has done deadlifting.
Trucker's hat.
after.
Yeah.
I don't want to squint from far away to have to tell who's the guy.
Yeah, I like when they declare a major. All right, so there's that. So anyway, all the ashes in the sea, all the pollution. I don't know, like, how many more times? Like, let's just do this math. All right, I live on a hill. Many of the houses that have burned down were literally on the side of a hill. Now, people don't really realize in L.A., people build on the side of a hill. I mean, you see it where you ever walk through a neighborhood like up in the hills and there's a vacant lot for sale?
Yeah.
And it just says vacant lot. And you look up and it's like, that's just a hill. What do you mean? And I built those houses in the past, like when I used to build. They come in, they excavate, they dig out the garage. They'll excavate, they'll build a retaining wall behind the garage, and that'll go up, and they'll put some caissons in the ground. And you're looking at what you think is the side of a steep hill, and it's a lot for sale. So then, a lot of those houses on my street are on the side of the hill. And then when they burn down, you don't even, it's weird, it doesn't register as a house missing, because when you walk, you see a vista. It doesn't look like a house should have been there because it's just the hill now. So when it rains, it's the side of a steep hill. Your house was there and it's burnt to the ground. It rains, it just flows right on down and goes right across BCH and is in the ocean. There's no other way for it to go. How much toxic residue could be left on the side of a hill where there was a fucking mudslide on the hill, and it took it all down into Duke's restaurant? Like, isn't everything... Okay, let's just say I lived up in the hills and I like to cook meth, and I liked a lot of synthetic fiber material. Like, I wore a lot of rayon because I was a class act, and I cooked a lot of meth. Once my home/meth lab and rayon closet burnt to the ground, once it rained and there was a mudslide that was essentially my house rolling down into Duke's restaurant, well, then isn't my property clear of whatever residue you would find my meth lab and rayon shirts at Duke's?
Jesus did the work.
That's right. It took it out. Now we're looking at footage of the ocean, which is turned into a
beautiful slime mold.
Because everything just went down the hill into the ocean.
And that's Altadena, isn't it?
But we could have cleaned up the mess before the fucking rains killed the dolphins.
They burned down the wrong neighborhood.
I don't think Barbie's going to rebuild there.
Barbie's dream Malibu house probably took her Corvette and faced it toward Nevada.
Full of carcinogens.
Fuck this. Yes, and if Barbie's dream Corvette burned down, then that would be more hazardous waste. Yes, everything went down this hill and went into Duke's restaurant.
Oh, aloha.
So that's where I live. I live by Duke's. And listen, I don't say Dukes deserve to be condemned or flooded, but their calamari sucked ass. They did the worst fucking calamari ever. Don't do calamari where you do the whole squid arm and then I'm chewing on it like I'm trying to fucking swallow a dildo. Make the hoops of calamari. They
That's
did
the
the
Sicilian
arm.
way. You
I
don't like the
like
legs?
the chewy.
You don't like the tentacles?
No.
Oh, they're so good.
The only good part about the calamari, look, whenever you deep fry something, it's an apology. You know what I mean? You deep fry shit because you're going, I know you really don't like it. It's either deep frying or we're wrapping it with bacon. You know, when people go, oh man, they do. You ever do the liver with chestnut with the bacon? It's like no one eats liver, just liver, because it's wrapped. They don't like it. It tastes like shit. You got to wrap it in bacon. You either wrap it in bacon or you deep fry it. But anyway, their calamari sucks. They don't deserve what they got. But the point is there is nothing toxic left on any lots to clean up anymore because it's all in the fucking ocean. That's all. So now we should be able to clean up our mess, because the only thing left is, I-beams and wood and foundation, and all the stuff that was ash and toxic is gone. It's swept away.
Just spray some 409 on it.
All right, so it's been 2 months. That's it. There's no anything. There's no updates. There's no nothing. And the answer is, why not? And the answer is because they don't fucking want to. That's it. There's shit they want. And you'll know what they want. They wanted to close the schools during COVID, so they fucking snapped into action. Mm-hmm. And they wanted Tin Horn Flats, my friend's restaurant over there, they wanted them to shut down outdoor dining during COVID. And there was a fence around the place in 2 days because they didn't comply. So shit they want, try owing them money. See how that works out in terms of what they want. They want that stuff. What they don't want is you and your property being cleaned up. Let's see. The reported Monday paperwork had been filed with Los Angeles Ethics Commission after initially filed with the state of California last week. Filing allows opponents of Mayor Bass to raise money so they can recall her on the ballot.
Yeah. All right.
Listen,
that's a good idea.
Listen to me. It's our fucking fault for hiring hood ornaments instead of engines. We need engines need to run the fucking city. The hood ornament's just there for display. We go, oh, she's a woman of color. She'd be the first woman of color. Yeah, the first Dumbo who doesn't give a shit, who wants to go to Ghana. Yeah, we'll have the first one. But don't expect her to do anything. She's not going to do anything. She's a hood ornament. We didn't hire her. We didn't elect her because she was good at shit. We elected her so we could pat ourselves on the back for having the first female of color run California, even if she doesn't know, or run Los Angeles, even if she doesn't know how to run anything.
It'd be cool if we could have some type of a mannequin on the move situation with the ornaments where something springs her to life and then she starts doing action.
We hit her with jumper cables.
Have you seen Mannequin on the Move? I feel like that's your wheelhouse. That's like late 80s, early 90s. I thought that would really spark something. Nothing.
Hold on. I have seen the movie Mannequin.
There's Mannequin, and I think the sequel might have been Mannequin on the Move. My bad.
I don't roll that deep into the Mannequin franchise.
See the Mannequin saga?
Did you see Mannequin Breaking Training?
Right.
Electric Boogaloo? I know your head's going.
I'm excited for Mannequin elected office.
Who was Mannequin? I need to see the trailer for Mannequin. Mannequin 1 had what's her name from Sex and the City, the bitchy one who's always beefing with Sarah Jessica Parker, Kim Cattrall. She was the mannequin.
Miranda.
No, not Miranda.
Oh, not Miranda. Samantha.
Both of you failed that test.
Andrew McCarthy. That was the first one. She was a mannequin who came to life.
I did that on purpose so you didn't think I was gay. Got her on the first day.
Yeah, you forgot Monterey that weekend. I know you're gay, Nick. All right, sorry. We have...
Long ago, in a faraway kingdom...
Do not draw that sword unless you intend to use it, sir.
A dashing prince and his lady fair ran into a few problems.
A symbol of our eternal love. You have cursed my gift!
Oh, he turned her into a mannequin.
Until she meets a true love from another land.
And that is the legend of Hauptmann Koenig's enchanted peasant girl.
1,000 years later, Jason Williamson started a new job.
Well, lucky you. It seems we have an opening on Mr. Montrose's staff. Give me cheekbones. I'll give me that.
It's
and
the
found
same
the
movie.
girl of his dreams.
2.5 billion women in the world, and I'm trying to score with a statue. There is definitely something wrong with me.
By the way, hold on a second. That's no.
Oh.
That's Mannequin 1. This chick's acting is so bad that all she has to do is wake up from being a mannequin, and I didn't buy it.
I agree.
I didn't buy her waking up.
You're right.
Show her again. She's such a bad actress that she can't even wake up from being a mannequin without me going, I don't know, let's try another one. Let's get another wake up.
Score with a statue. Huh? There is definitely something wrong with me. Gesundheit.
Dankeschön.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's the vaudevillian stuff.
Why are you moving?
After a 10-century snooze,
The lights are beautiful. How does it all work?
Well,
she's got some catching up to do.
it's diet soda. No calories, no sugar, no caffeine.
Oh, we had something like that back home called water.
Who's that?
Who's in the bathroom?
No questions, please.
We do not fall in love with empty things unless, of course, their daddies are rich. And in this case, her daddy's
gonna have sex with her
about it.
as a mannequin.
It's not what you're thinking.
Honestly, ahead of its
He's
time.
in love with
Yeah.
him. Dummy.
Oh, the Countess here to preview the display. Are you sure you're supposed to be out in the daylight? Get back. I want to see the enchanted
All right.
peasant
Is that
girl.
Meshack Taylor?
Where is she?
God, this is the most 80s movie ever.
Yeah. How do you miss
I
this?
have to save her, Hollywood.
I didn't know they made a mannequin too.
I thought you
right.
would aim for the heart.
1991. But you know, you gotta. You can pause it. You gotta remember, it's like you go the 60s, but 1961, guys dressed like they were in the 50s.
Yeah.
Because no one at the end of the decade just bought a full
You're
cool
right, yeah,
paisley vest and grew a ponytail. They still look like they look. Like movies that are from like 90, 91, 92, 93 play just like 80s
Yeah.
movies. Just
Same
First off,
technology.
they shoot them a year in advance,
Yeah.
and all the fashion and all the music and all the everything just drifts right on in to the next decade. Meshack Taylor was in 1 and 2.
The official gay dude?
He was the official gay dude of designing women.
Yeah, there
Wasn't
you
he
go.
in designing
No, he
women?
was the official gay dude of that time. I don't know his name, but I didn't know that the name of designing women. But I remember him, and during that era, he was the black gay representative.
We used to have the official gay dude and the official black gay dude.
Margaret Cho was the official Asian lady.
And we had the official fat person.
Yes.
So it's like two guys.
Louis.
All of Hollywood, just two fat guys. Like, you
And
gotta
then once one overdoses, we move the next one in for the fat
Move
guy.
along, push the ribs
You
out of
know,
his
like
mouth.
if you had a son,
Roll him in like Violet Beauregard.
if you had a son in the, like, let's just say it was 1975.
All right.
And you had a 20-year-old son. And the son was like, and you were living in Michigan. And it was 1975, and he was 20. And he said to you, I want to move out of Flint. I want to move to Hollywood. I want to become an actor. I would say to the guy, I've known you for 20 years. You know, you're my son. You don't seem gifted, and you don't seem particularly funny, and you got your mom's look, so you're not striking. But it's 1975. If you just put on 80 pounds, you could work as the fat guy for the next 15 to 20 years. Now, the heart may go out early, but there's only room for like two fat guys in Hollywood, and you will play the fat guy. Now, if you want to, you can also grow a full biker beard and play the biker fat guy who's just always, you won't have lines. They'll just put a cut-off jean jacket on, and you'll stand next to the pool table looking angry as the fat guy with the beard.
Yeah.
So you can do both. You do fat guy or biker fat guy if you want to grow a beard. And you will work, because we only had a couple of fat guys, a couple of bikers, a couple of gay dudes. Meshack Taylor was the only black gay.
Yep.
You corner the market.
Standardized.
That's right. And you never stop working. Or you could go out on auditions and struggle for the fucking rest of your life and never get anything.
that little pep talk that dad gave his 20-year-old son is exactly why I didn't tell anyone I was moving to California. Because I would have got a lot of why.
Like, well, why don't we have a hoagie and think about this, son?
And I didn't know about the weight gain option either, so.
Oh, well, you moved here too late because we decided A, was unfair to make fun of fat people, and B, everyone got fat. So now we have our pick of the litter. Like you can go to any mall or amusement park and find a ton of morbidly obese people.
Now we have like the fragmented fat guys. You know what I mean? You got Bert Kirshner, the fat drunk guy. You know what I mean? You got fat regular guy. Like there's like every flavor of fat funny guy now.
We're lousy with fat. We don't need it anymore. But there was a time when you could work as fat.
There is a new, I don't think it was in the 90s, the gay fat guy. Nimble on his feet.
He was there. Yeah.
It was. You brought up earlier.
I was born in '87, so I was just talking about
a zesty bear. There, yeah.
We're talking about sniveling, I think, as being the worst.
Yes.
Fat guys snivel. They're snivellers. You know what I mean? Like when you think about picture Jurassic Park. Remember Newman from Seinfeld? And it's they play the best snivellers. They're always like, "Don't eat me first. Don't eat me first." You know what I mean? Like they're great. Somehow the extra weight makes it more pathetic when they grovel.
Yeah,
they snivel, they grovel. They got jowls. Their jowls look scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're snivellers. We used to have fat snivellers, and it was, you're so pathetic, you fat ass. I hope the dinosaur eats you first.
Here we go.
He does a great sniveling fat guy.
Yep.
And you know what? You can kill him because no one feels sorry for sniveling fat people. It's like you get what you get. At some point, nostalgic. I know.
I love this. And he drops the Barbasol right here.
Yeah.
And the slightest bit of effort, they look strained.
Right. It's great. They're always sweaty. They're always sniveling.
Yeah, that's nice.
They're pathetic. You don't mind if they die. You really don't. And you're also like, this guy's, what's he going to live, another 3 years?
Oh, nice boy. Nice boy.
Oh.
Nice dinosaur. Oh, thought you were one of your big brothers. You're not so bad. You're not so bad. What do you want? What do you want? You want food? Look at me. I just fell down a hill. I'm soaking wet. I don't have any food.
And the switch to confidence to scare.
Yeah. They get a little bravado every once in a while, and then they puss out immediately, which is a part of the fat sniveler.
Get knocked down a peg or two.
Yeah, look, stick, stupid. That's a stick, boy.
Spent a lot of time with this dinosaur, I feel like.
Movies in general. Letting it breathe.
I'm gonna run you over when I come back down.
We should just watch the whole movie. It's going to be better than anything we do. Let's be honest.
We're just all enraptured by Newman.
Yeah, enraptured. Sniveling, pathetic. Also, when fat guys try to get away, it's always sad. They can't get in their Jeep because they're too fat. The can rolls away. All right. Now, look, I will show my son this and go, look, this is going to be your role, but you will be working. This guy got paid. There was craft service. He probably had his own trailer.
Yeah, put some weight gainer in his protein shake.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. We got some news to get into, I do believe, and we'll do all that right after this. Mando, man, I use this stuff. Oh, they sent me over a little variety pack, but it ain't gathering dust. It's on, man, especially when I travel. Mando, it's got a whole body deodorant, safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, whatever you got, cracks, the feet, use it all on all the parts. Created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. All of their products are baking soda free and paraben free as well. It's Mando, right, Dawson?
Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code ADAM at mandopodcast.com, M-A-N-D-O podcast.com/Adam. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
All right, New Year's resolution. Vow to eat healthier, but what about your beloved pets and their nutrition? Yeah, you're doing better, but they're getting a bunch of dried up old kibble. Dr. Dennis Black created Rough Greens and Meow Greens to bring their dead food back to life with live vitamins and minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and more. See, pet food is dead food, and you eat dead food, soon enough, you're going to join it. You need to bring it to life. All, by the way, in a tasty formula your dog or cat will love. It'll improve their coat, digestion, energy, and mean less vet bills. I've been doing this with Phil, holding the sack right now. VitaSmart. You don't have to buy food and keep it in the refrigerator. You just sprinkle this on top of the food you're currently serving your dog or your cat. Get a Jumpstart trial bag. It's normally $20. It's free with the promo code Adam. You just cover shipping. It's a free Jumpstart trial bag. That's it. You just go to ruffgreens.com. Use the code Adam. Try it out for free. Your dog's going to love it, and you'll notice the difference quickly in your dog's vigor and health. Rough Greens, so good, your pet will ask for it by name.
Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. Go to roughgreens.com. Just use promo code Adam. That's RUFF greens.com and use promo code Adam and just cover shipping. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam, Shay from Kentucky. I need a new drill. I'm just a regular DIY guy. Need your advice. Walter, Milwaukee. Thanks, man. Let's get on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Well, I'll go Milwaukee, but the Walt's good. Everything works now, but I would go Milwaukee on a drill, but get an impact driver, too. Get a drill and an impact driver.
You talking 12 volt?
No, they're all like 18 or 22 or something. They're all getting big now, but the impact driver's a game changer.
I have extremely soft hands, so I don't use tools, but I'm pro Milwaukee because of Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee makes a lot of good stuff. Milwaukee used to just make Sawzalls, and now they make everything. Yeah, get to Milwaukee. All right, sorry. Where were we?
No, we're
it's
getting
probably
into
made
the
in
news.
Korea, but get to Milwaukee.
The Milwaukee. They're made in Korea? No, I didn't know that. USA.
Somebody can look it up, but I guarantee Milwaukee has a factory somewhere outside of the United States. I would assume, but I don't know, Andrew. You could see where Milwaukee, and maybe they make all their components in Korea and they assemble them in Milwaukee, where Laverne and Shirley used to work, or something. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Go ahead.
Hey, up first in the news, Democrats melt down during Trump's address, and the internet takes notice.
Milwaukee tools are made in China, Germany, Mexico, the United States, and Vietnam. So, yeah, they're big. They're worldwide, and I assume they got places everywhere.
They have small factories in most of those countries and a big factory in the cheapest country.
Yes, that's probably how it works. Yeah, little kiosks in Germany and then a huge one in Vietnam. All right, sorry, what happened?
Well, last night, addressed by President Trump, had no shortage of viral moments. Most of them at the expense of Democrats, who once again proved they're not interested in leading, just in political theater.
Yeah, they're angry women mainly, and when you have to understand, women are wired differently than men, and I'm telling, go ahead and show it. But you know what? Just for fun, Andrew, you can find Elise Stefanik, I think, getting into it, like Claudine Gay or whatever from Harvard. That's just women. That's just women. And when women get pissed, they get pissed. And when you fucking piss them off, and he pisses them off, you know, and you go, you just want a wide open border and we're going to start a nuclear war with Russia? And they go, fine, I don't give a fuck. Just do it. Do it. See if I care. You know what I mean? When anyone has argued with a woman, at some point you go, listen, we're going to have to sell the house and live on the street. And they go, I don't care. Let's just fucking live where we live. I never asked for this shit. And you go, you want to live out on the street? They go, I don't care anymore. All right, Nick? I don't even care. Sell the fucking house. We'll live in the street. They don't mean it. Yeah. You just piss them off.
I'm stubborn, though. We'll go live on the street. Who's going to break first?
I threw a bitch out on Mulholland in the middle of the night. My friend Rudy was driving, and my friend Michelle was yelling the whole time, slow down, slow down, slow down. She's bitching, and Rudy drives a little, you know, with pace. You know, it's the middle of the night on Mulholland. Nothing around. 2 a.m. And she's yelling at Rudy, slow down or let me out of this car. Let me out of this car. And at a certain point, I just go, Rudy, let her out of the fucking car. And we pulled over in the middle of Mulholland in the middle of the night. Said, get the fuck out of the car then. You got your wish. And she just got out of the car, and we just left. And
I feel like for the story, we should have her do something else to spur the kick out. No cell phone?
She earned it.
Nothing. And Rudy's like, shouldn't we turn around and pick her up? I was like, she yelled at you for the last 2 miles, and she said she wanted out of the car. Now she's out of the car. That's what she wanted. And we'll just keep driving. And that's what we did.
Do you ever hear from her again?
Yeah, she was pissed. Amber, she's a friend of mine. This is, you know, I was 19, but she was pissed. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we have Claudine. Well, I'll show you Claudine Gay with Elise Stefanik. This is it's just a chick telling another chick, "Hey, bitch, do what I tell you to do."
Based upon your testimony, you understand that this call for intifada is to commit genocide against the Jewish people in Israel and globally, correct?
I will say again, that type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
Do you believe that type of hateful speech is contrary to Harvard's code of conduct, or is it allowed at Harvard?
It is at odds with the values of Harvard.
Can you not say here that it is against the code of conduct at Harvard?
Not going to say what you're saying, bitch.
We embrace a commitment to free expression, even of views that are objectionable, offensive, hateful. It's when that speech crosses into conduct that violates our policies against bullying, harassment,
Does that speech not cross that barrier? Does that speech not call for the genocide of Jews and the elimination of Israel?
She got fired because she wouldn't let this Republican bitch boss her around. Yeah. So she's like, fuck you, bitch. Meanwhile, she's being filmed, and then later on, they're like, you didn't condemn genocide, so now we got to let you go.
Yeah.
But at that moment, she was a woman. Not the president.
Yeah, I get it.
Not the president of Harvard.
Okay,
She was fuck it, we'll live out in the street, okay, Mayhem? Because I don't give a fuck. And you go, what are you going to do? I don't need these clothes. I don't need a car. I don't need anything. Yeah, that's them being pissed. Mm-hmm. So Trump trolls them. They get pissed and then fucks them up because he goes, I got a plan. Let's not let biological men compete with women in combat sports. And they go, well, fuck that. Yeah. And I want to close the border. And they go, what do you want to do? I want to close the border. Oh, okay. We ain't doing that. I'd like to cure leukemia. Oh, yeah? I don't think so. And then the problem is most America does think so. Yeah. And then they get fucked. And that's what they're doing. So he's trolling them.
Trump's got to sneak one in there. He'd be like, list them. No. Free healthcare for all. No, gotcha.
Right. Because that's basically what they're doing. They just do the opposite because they're angry women.
He had the clip. He's like, there's nothing I could do here that would get that side to applause.
Yeah, that strategy was strange, too. They held up, like, bingo markers. Everybody was clowning on them online. They've officially run out of ideas, they said. And Representative, I didn't catch this myself. Al Green got him. So, yeah, here's the weird pattern.
Also, they have some weird thing which is like they think they have dominion over people they don't have dominion over, which is they do this thing where it's like, I think it was like Elon Musk was like, I don't know, was trying to build a factory or something, and some bitch in San Diego was like, Elon, get the fuck out of here, you dope. We don't need you. And it's like, do you think Elon cares that you, like AOC calls Elon Musk an idiot. She thinks that has some kind of effect on how Elon Musk thinks of himself. But he's too busy firing rockets to Mars to worry about AOC. And they have this weird thing where they think they're going to upset Trump and they're going to upset Elon Musk or J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance and Elon and Trump look at them as sea hags that are semi-retarded. And then we would have a much better society if they would just go somewhere else and not govern anymore. And it's a weird, I always say it, it's like the Middle East does that. All the nut jobs, when we go, all right, well, you're not going to give the hostages, we're going to have to bomb you. They go, you bomb us, you feel the sting of Allah's sword upon your neck. And we go, really? Because you don't have boots. You have sandals, and your military is shit that Russia was done with in the 50s. So, no, I don't think this is how this is going down.
Does a fiery sword
Is it a fiery sword of justice of Allah? I'll tell the guy flying the A-10 Warthog I'll tell him to look out for the sword of Allah.
What are you talking about? The 19-year-old kid with the drone controller with the Xbox just...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sending it down hellfire missiles.
We have Al Green getting kicked out.
Oh, great.
That's funny.
Yeah, I want to see that.
He seems like a guy whose hair I don't want to touch.
He seems like my dad.
Oh, really?
He looks like very Neanderthal look, heavy brow. I did not grow up with my father, so last night I was like, Dad? But it's very similar. I've often gotten compared to the Geico caveman since middle school, and I was seeing a lot of side-by-sides with him and the Geico caveman, and I am the missing link.
Yeah, the underdeveloped frontal lobe, pronounced cheek and brow areas. Yeah, you could be.
I don't wear sunglasses because I don't need it.
I hate to tell you, your dad is getting primary.
All right, let's see. Is he getting tossed out? Sorry.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
Also, he has a cane with a metal handle on it. Like you could El Kabong someone.
Concerted disruption of
that happened on those
the
floors
chair now
before.
directs the sergeant at arms to restore
Good,
order.
sir.
Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
It's weird. He carries a cane, but doesn't really walk with it. He kind of holds it. He uses it
as a cudgel.
Yeah, like Moses did with his staff. You know what I mean? The part that's funny is they think they can upset the people like Trump and J.D. Vance when they end up amusing the guys like Trump and J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Because they look at them as dullards and idiots.
I would have respected Pops more if they would have had to get physical with them.
Yeah.
Like, they get grabbed, go limp.
Nah,
he walked
shoot
out.
a single leg.
Shot
you know
a
what I mean?
single or double, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you respect Pop. He's got his cane, but he doesn't use his cane. All right, anyway, his hair seems very greasy, and it also seems like one of those things where I wouldn't want Al Green to sit on my linen sofa, because I'd be like, if this guy leans back, there's going to be a weird slick on the top of my pillow. Like,
Jerry Curl?
It looks like he's wearing, he must use hair relaxer, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
Because he would have kinky, thick
I dated
hair.
a girl with that same hair. It's as slimy as it looks.
Do they have Afro Sheen anymore? Do you guys remember Afro
He wears
Sheen?
a wave cap to bed, yeah.
There wasn't a lot of curly hair where I'm from.
Afro, it looks like someone took a a skunk's tail and dipped it in mineral oil and taped it to the back of his fucking head. Like, I wouldn't let this guy.
Oh, man.
What if you had a new Ferrari with an Alcantara interior? It had the beautiful suede inserts in the seat. Would you want this fucking greaseball?
What if you had
riding
a candelabra and he walked right by
and catch on fire?
It looks like a bundle of sage. I could cleanse the Congress.
The agents made this ponytail.
The elder said, Afro Sheen. Find me an Afro Sheen commercial from the 70s.
Oh, he's already got it.
Oh, okay. There is from the 70s and early 80s, there's a product called Afro Sheen, and I don't know, maybe I'd watched an episode of Soul Train or something, but it came on, and people knew what it was when I was in high school. And I don't think it straightened your hair. It like kind of glossified it or something.
So my pomade.
Your pomade. My dad, Jim Carolla, had a full afro.
Yeah.
He had a full afro.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's Afro Sheen from 1978. Let's see what this is.
Sure. He's into Afro Sheen, but I like doing my own thing. And I know Afro Sheen is great for hair that's natural or straight. Before I decide on what I'll do, I always start with Afro Sheen shampoo. I don't worry about my hair looking dry with conditioner and hairdress standing by. And when there's a problem with itching and flakes, the medicated has got what it takes. When I want my look to say, all right, a cornrow is really out of sight. Comb Easy makes it a breeze to comb through and braid with natural ease. And Spray for Sheen adds that extra touch for the glow in my hair. He loves so much. I may change my hairstyles frequently, but change from Afro Sheen, hey, not me.
Afro Sheen. That was a sexy ass commercial, man.
I was really thinking I was about to hear the word jive turkey.
Yeah, it was coming. It was coming.
Black people respond to rhymes more than white people do.
She was spitting.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. Black people are like, well, what are you gonna do? That guy rhymed something. He rhymed fit and a quit, so I guess we got to do it. Like, that's why Nipsey Russell was so hot, man. That guy rhymed everything. Black people love rhymes.
And that's how I can prove my 2% Congolese according to my 23andMe, because I'm honestly a sucker for rhymes
You
as
love
well.
rhymes, too?
I do.
Well, just in time. All right. Al Green's getting us going.
That's actually my rap album, In the Nick of Rhyme.
Well, that's good.
And my cookbook, In the Nick of Time.
All right, sorry. Where do we have? They're both good. Yeah. What story? Al Green. What else? We got another one?
Yeah. Well, the rest of that, I mean, it was very interesting, too, because during the address, they had a disgraceful moment where President Trump honored a 13-year-old cancer survivor, and all the Dems just sat there.
Well, again, it's what I said. You can bait them into saying or doing anything.
But if you notice, the bait was Donald Trump had the cutest little black boy who had obvious cancer scars up and gave him not only like some, applause, but also made him an FBI agent. That to me was the viral moment, like heartwarming, but also strange because the Democrats didn't want to give props to that, which was like the strangest thing because it's the cutest little black kid on earth from Texas, and you would think that they would be happy somehow, but it just missed the mark.
They're worried he's going to release the Epstein files.
Exactly.
Yeah, the black kid's going to walk into Pam Bondi's office and go, it's
Enough
go
of this.
time. It's
Enough
go
of this.
time. Listen, my time on this planet is limited. I want to know who are on those flights.
But watch the wholesome lovability of this moment.
Okay.
Jay, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Now, Ace, your opinion here. He's 13.
Yeah.
Is that too old to hoist him like this? Especially when he's wearing a police uniform?
Yeah. We can pause it for a second. That's when I knew Mark McGuire was juicing because his son was built like a butt plug. His son was like 3'9", 275, and he hit a home run and he went to home plate and he just lifted him like a feather. Like a feather. I was like, okay. The ball traveling 600 feet, I was like, I don't know. Lifting that tub of goo, I was like, oh, he's juicing hard. So
where is Little Mac nowadays? I wonder if he made it to the show.
Little Mac, didn't McGuire's son make it to AAA or something? Yeah, he did something. He got, I don't know if he made it to the show. That's a good question. But yeah, so anyway, we can play the tape out. It doesn't matter.
You can see him getting drunk with power already.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone is...
And a big hug to the FBI director.
Right.
It's such a weird, wholesome moment.
But the ladies or the Dems didn't want to cheer.
Yeah. Later on, they also... Donald Trump, man, this thing was beautiful. It was hilarious. It was like a comedy jam. Like, it was some kind of strange thing. He also gave the application, stamped the guy's application to military academy. I don't know if we pulled that, but it was it was a really crazy speech. He really laid out his victories. It was a whole different world.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. It's the difference between the process people and the nuts and bolts people. Like, you watch it and you go, I watched Joe Biden and Kamala Harris make 1,000 speeches. They never say anything other than we deserve a seat at the table and no child's going to be left behind and we're better together in America, this, and something about that sort of platitude. But I never hear any numbers. Like, I never hear any plans. Yeah. And I realize they're not interested in plans, and their constituency isn't interested in a plan. Like, I had a hippie mom. Her plan was no plan. She didn't want to do stuff. You know, part of it is lethargy, and also they're incompetent. They don't have ability, which is, you have to kind of approach it. Like, let's really just think about it from a sort of pragmatic and semi-mechanical approach, right? So, Palisades, Malibu, Altadena. Okay, so a bunch of structures burned down. Okay, so a bunch of stuff needs to be done because a bunch of structures burned down. Now, I used to build houses, and I've remodeled a million houses, and I've built houses, and I've also rebuilt a ton of cars and done like nut and bolt restorations on cars. So if you say to me, we got to rebuild this car, or we're going to put a master suite on the back of the house or whatever, then my mind just goes right there. I go, okay, we're going to have to, here's what we're going to have to do. And I'll see it. I mean, you're going to have to dig a footing. We're going to have to get a pour in here. We're not going to be able to get a truck. We can't get a cement truck into the back of the house. So we're going to have to get a pumper. And that pumper's we have to put the truck on the street, and the pumper will pump it in the back. Or then you look out the back fence and you go, maybe we can use the neighbor's driveway. If we take down 8 foot of fencing, we can have the truck pull in. We'll put the pumper in the back. Okay. If you said that to my mom, she would just go, oh, let's smoke pot and eat and talk about this for a while. But she wouldn't know we're going to dig foundation. We're going to put number 4 rebar in there. We're going to form it up. We're going to put fucking J-bolts in it. We need a pumper. She didn't know anything. She'd never done it. She wouldn't, her inclination wouldn't even be to do it or talk about it. It's foreign to her. And if you said, to me, let's make a souffle, I'd probably go, I don't have a thing for that. I don't really know.
You need a pumper.
I need a pumper. So then you go, okay, Rick Caruso, commercial developer, built the Grove, built everything, right? And then you go, Karen Bass, lifelong fucking paper pusher, Democrat who sits in things and talks about feelings all day. All right, so when you and then there's Trump, commercial builder. So when then Trump comes in and goes, hey, we got to go. She goes, But why should she? She's never done any of it. I mean, let's not blame her. Let's blame the idiots who thought she would do any of this. So then 2 months goes by and nothing's been touched. And if you said to her, "Are you bothered by this?" She'd go, I don't know, because I don't care, because I don't do this, because I haven't done it and I never will.
You're a mannequin. You don't know how to do that.
Mannequin too. If you said to Rick Caruso, "Does it bother you that nothing?" He'd go, "I'm going out of my fucking mind. I'm going out of my mind. I'm ready to start hiring my own demo crew to come in here." Like,
make LA the Grove again.
Yes. So they don't do anything. They only have process, and all they want to do is talk about the process. And when somebody shows up who does stuff, they get angry at that person. And they actually resent the person because that person represents their inadequacies. What that person does is that person shows up and goes, "Oh, you don't know shit and you don't do anything. So get the fuck out of the way and I'll do something." That's right. They get angry, when there's homeless people flopped out all over the front of restaurants. And at some point, the guy who owns the restaurant, after he calls the city for 2 years trying to get the homeless removed, and they do nothing. At some point, the guy puts a planter out front and a Texas privet in it, type of shrub, and my building background. And what's the city do? The city shows up and tells him he's got to move the planter, otherwise he's going to get into trouble. But he shamed the city because he went into action. Mm-hmm. And if anyone in Malibu shows up and starts clearing their own lot, you will be arrested by the city. And then the city will force all of this on its ire on you. Because you got a group of people that doesn't do anything. I come from a long line of these people. I studied them up close. I lived in the same house. They didn't like it. I literally told... we got Matthew McGuire. He's not in the show, but he works in the business. I guess the business would be the baseball business or the show business. The business. He's in the business. He's got Max McGuire's got another son, first baseman outfield, St. Louis University, junior. Mason McGuire. Oh, he's one of these guys who picks a fucking
alliteration. The sister to rhyme. I'm actually a fan.
Oh, what
alliteration?
Alliteration. Yeah, you know who else does that? Jimmy does that. Jimmy's family's got.
I prefer onomatopoeia.
They got Joan and Jill and John and Jimmy. And
No,
I remember.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The Basils that lived down the block from me, they were Joe, Julie, Jordan, Justin, and then Sam. The fifth kid got Sam.
That's the
Jared,
funniest,
not Justin.
The first, like you're going to get called out on that. But no, I like accuracy. That's one of the first conversations I ever had with Jimmy is I just go, I don't know, my buddy Ray came up and I'm like, he comes from one of those jack-off families. His mom, he's got his brother Rich. He's got his Ray. He's got another brother, Rob. And everyone has to do this fucking letter thing. And Jimmy just goes, I'll tell that to my brother, John, and my sister, Jill, and my mom, Joan, and my dad, Jim. He said, I'll tell that to them. He's such a prick. He doesn't say, well, we got that kind of family. He goes, I'll just tell that to, and I'm like, who's he going to tell that to? And then named everybody in his family that started with a J. But that's the way he would do it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Joel Lambert is ex-Navy SEAL who's going to join us in a moment, who's waiting on deck over there, speaking of the McGuires. So he's got another son that played at San Juan Capistrano or something. But none of his kids are in the show, right? McGuire, sorry, not Joel. All right, so in summation, there's a bunch of angry chicks and they don't want to do anything. And Trump and Elon want to do everything and they want to hurry. And people who don't... You know how people who work at a certain place, it happens a lot, it's a syndrome. they fucking loaf around, and then some point some guy shows up and he's got a lot of ideas and he's getting there early and he's staying late, and that guy resents that guy and starts talking shit about that guy. But all that guy is resentful that somebody's showing up and fucking working and making you look like the lazy sack of shit that you are.
Yeah.
So who do you resent, really? And if you do, go find a fucking mirror to figure out who you resent. You resent a guy who's working and he's making you look bad. But what really does that mean? It means you don't want to work. So don't resent him. Go resent yourself and get a work ethic. And that's what we have in LA. We have a bunch of people that don't do anything, who resent people who want to do stuff, and then they fight them when they want to do it. That's all the Coastal Commission is. Like, hey, successful person, you want to do something? Not on my watch, because that would bring shame upon me. All right, Nick, you said it all.
I do want to say, like, when I started here, it was the beginning of my career. It was almost 10 years ago now, and you gave me a lot of confidence working around here. You said, almost in so many words, you're the only one around here who's not half a fairy. That gave me a ton of confidence.
It started with an F. I think it may have ended with a G, but keep going.
And it was just, this helped me so much, and it was like a bucket list item one day to come on as a guest, and so it's just really awesome that I got to.
O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Wow. Yeah, you know the jingle. Yeah, they're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and the parts and knowledge you need for maintenance and for repairs as well. I've always been a fan of O'Reilly. You know, I like to wrench. Used to use the one over in North Hollywood. Then it was the one up in La Cañada, La Crescenta when I used to live out there. I'm always working on my stuff and always using O'Reilly. Whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you're going to find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts to be knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, they are friendly. So stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Do it today. Or you can visit us online, O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
Here's an actual thing our government is spending your tax money on. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. Now back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Well, ex-Navy SEAL Joel Lambert, or maybe there's never an ex-Navy SEAL. Maybe you're always a Navy SEAL, is joining us. He's got a book out called A Navy SEAL's Bug-In Guide to How to Turn Your House into the Safest Place on Earth. And it's available now as we speak. Lots of distinctions for Joel. Done some acting, too. Been an American Sniper and Patriots Day. But also was a lead instructor for BUDS, which I believe stands for Basic Underwater Demolition, as I recall.
SEAL training, that's it.
SEAL training. Out here in California back in the day. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Been a fan, of course, since the 90s, and real happy to be on here and happy to see all the stuff you've been putting up and standing up for. So thank you for that. Very grateful for people like you with platforms that are speaking a reason to the insanity.
Well, you know, it is interesting. I've had a number of Navy SEALs and folks of that ilk on the show over the years.
That's accurate.
And I don't know in advance when people come on this show. You know, I have comedians, I have actors. You know, I'll run into guys that are like hardcore lefty, you know, almost militant lefty, like an actor or comedian or something. I didn't even know where they stood. But whenever I hear Navy SEAL, I'm like, all right, we're simpatico. We're going to be on the same page. But how do I know? Well, I know we will be because I played football and I did construction. So I know I'm dealing with someone who lives in the real world. And there's no more real world than being a Navy SEAL.
No, that you come Adam, you come in the BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training. The whole point of BUDS, and I was an instructor after going through myself, is we are peeling with a razor blade, a scalpel, like an onion, peeling layers of their existence off and exposing it to the air and the sunlight. And what happens is you either get to the core and you in Hell Week or someplace around there, you stare into the void and you get to see the very nugget. You're exposed to the core of your soul, the very nugget of your existence. And if it's good, great. You come back out and you're able to move on. But if there's a rotten spot somewhere on the way in, that's what we're doing to screen people out. So it's an exposure process. And so the guys that have gone through, even the ones that may have other issues, and there's a lot of us that have a lot of issues, you know that the very core of their soul, they've been into a journey to the very nugget of their existence and come back out, because that's the screening process.
I've had many a SEAL, and it totally makes sense, explain to me that it's really mostly mental, and that the guys that are jacked and the high school football studs and everything tend to flame out faster than the guys who just have the grit and the right mental mindset.
That's exactly right. I always say it's 100% mental and it's 100% physical. But what it is the mental is the make or break. And we get to their mind, we break their mind by going through the body. So we put the mental pressure on the person by giving them physical pain and in copious amounts of discomfort and putting them in situations under extreme amounts of duress, especially underwater. And those are the things that will break someone mentally, but we do it through the body. That's why, team guys are usually very physical, even though, like you said, the ones that are jacked and the ones that we call them as instructors, we would always call them gazelles, because these are the kids that in high school, they were state champion wrestlers or sprinters or something like that, or they're NCAA wrestlers or something, and they never lost. They don't know what it's like to lose. They don't know what it's like to have your dick dragging in the dirt, bloody and beaten, completely demolished by whatever it is you're going up against, and have to keep going after you've been mentally demolished. They don't know what it's like. So the guys that are used to getting kicked in the dick over and over and over throughout their life, they're the ones that do pretty well, because they're able to handle that kind of just mental stress of not being able to cruise through and cruise across the finish line, throw the great game-winning touchdown, and then go to prom with the head cheerleader.
I completely agree, and I was thinking about this, which is I put this theory together. I started to notice that the guys who were former professional football players, who were offensive linemen, moved on and were having success in business and in the booth and all that kind of stuff. And I was just talking about this with the Rams. Let's see, we got to look this one up. Andrew, I think the guy's name is Andrew, who just retired from the Rams. He had the gray beard, made the Super Bowl, retired like 2 years ago. Andrew something. He's a giant guy. But he's up in the booth. He's doing great. And Wentworth, I think his name is Wentworth. Anyway, I met him. Fucking guy's huge, by the way. But anyway, I met the guy, and he's doing great. Andrew Whitworth. And I told him, I feel like the guys who are the offensive linemen are doing better outside of the league in business and beyond than the ball hawk, bonus baby guys who scored all the touchdowns, because the guy, you're used to slugging it out in the trenches and giving it up. You have to be very giving, and you cannot be selfish, because all you're doing is blocking for the guy who's getting all the cheerleaders and the attention, and he's on the cover of the newspaper. You're trying to push a 300-pound guy around and getting no credit. But then that mentality, once you go out into the world and you have to collaborate and do business, is a much better attitude to have. And so offensive linemen who you think are big dumb oafs turn out to do much better once they leave the league than the guys who run the 4.240s.
Totally. They're the ones that are used to getting run over by the defensive linemen, Right. They're used to taking the hits. And the guys we get that come in that aren't used to taking the hits, and particularly the mental hits, the ones that have always, they've always been the fastest guy. They've always been the strongest guy. They're used to winning. You get to buds, there is something in that screening process and in life as a Navy SEAL that will crush you, that will destroy you. There will be something that you're not great at. And how do you handle having to dig down into that very core and find something to be able to get you through something you're not good at and you can't breeze through. Some guys, that's everything in buds, but other guys, we'd have guys. I had a guy when I first started training, he was a professional triathlete. I mean, he was sponsored by Cytomax and all these different, he had all this free stuff. And nobody ever found out why he joined the Navy. He got in trouble somehow, but he was a professional triathlete, and he would lap collegiate swimmers in the pool. In 100 meters, he'd be lapping collegiate swimmers. Running, he was the one who would sing our cadence for the instructors because he was the only one who had breath on the runs in the sand. And that guy on a room inspection, on a Monday morning, room inspections, the instructors come and they stand outside your room and they go in. Really, it's an excuse to just mess with you. They come in your room, and if they find any hits of detailing or cleanliness issues or disorganization, 3 hits and you fail, and then you get sent to the surf and you get beaten for several hours. Push-ups and pull-ups and 8-count bodybuilders and things like that. And he quit on a room inspection. This guy was just jogging along. All the brutal physical stuff was cake for him, but the mental pressure of someone yelling at him in his face and humiliating him during a room inspection broke his soul, and he quit. And that was like 2 weeks in. So it's it's different than what people think. They think, you're just going to charge through and be punching. It's like Rocky says, it's how many punches you can hit and you can take and keep moving forward. How much can you take and keep going forward? That's the key.
Yeah, and then that just translates into every facet of life.
Exactly.
And I don't think people...
And character.
Oh, in character. Ugh. Yeah. And I don't think people understand really what's going on when we're sort of messing with character and telling people that, I get in arguments with people. It's like, don't take that Ozempic. And they're like, why not? Lose a few pounds. Like, what's wrong? And I'm like, because you're losing your character. You want to have to say, I would like to have a piece of cheesecake, but you know what? I'm not going to do it. Because it's not good for me. Or I would like, whatever that thing is, we are now trying to deprive, especially young males, of those things because we look at them as hostile or dangerous or somehow, it's toxic masculinity. No, it is not. We need it. We're depriving people of it. We're getting really bad citizens. We're having character issues, and we're getting a bunch of fat, lazy, angry people. It's not a good plan.
I think it's an aspect of this this 5th generation World War III that we're in. It's destroying the truth of who and what we are, so that they can bring a counterfeit in. And get us to think a different way, the way that they want us to think, and to create the world that they want to exist in, which is not something that I'm going to exist in.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I can't figure out whether it's like nefarious or lazy. Like I can't figure out if there's a bigger plan to essentially, it's like, I know the Russians love us to argue about race, and so does China. They love that we just sit here all day and argue about something that doesn't basically exist in this country, because every second we spend having some sort of race-based argument is another second they can move their military ahead. So they must be enthralled with the fact, and then that we elect stooges like Biden who get up there and agitate about race every fucking speech. They must be laughing their ass off at the notion that this is all we do. So maybe that's a nefarious part of it. And remember, when the Russian bots were getting involved with the election, most of the stuff didn't have anything to do with Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. It was all mostly race-based. So we take the bait.
We do. And I think I'm fairly convinced it's fully intentional. This is, are you familiar with Yuri Bezmenov? You probably are.
Sure.
Yes. So it's all laid out. This is all strategic, in my opinion. I think it comes back to the Tavistock Institute, social engineering and conditioning. We are so programmed, and we've been seeing it especially in the last 5 or 10 years. Human beings are so easily programmed. we're walking computers. You just write some software into us, and they can get us to do anything we want. In fact, in the 60s, what's his name, during, I think, the Warren Commission or something, or the church hearings or something, the director of the CIA said, give me 3 months and I can make any person, hate their parents, and I can make any person think anything I want them to.
Right. Now, it doesn't work on you, and it doesn't work on me, because we went through things in our past, and we cannot be malleable or as easily manipulated as some folks can. I call it crate training. They got to get the pup when he's young to crate train him. They can't get old dogs like us. We can't be crate trained. It's too late for us. That's why they're so interested in your kids. Because if they can get those kids young, then they can train them up and they can get them to do what they want to do. But the real question for me is then, where does CNN factor into this, and or many politicians? Are they all useful idiots, or are they on the payroll, or how do you parse that out?
I think it's USAID and all the AID, and I think they've moved in and they've taken control of so many things. It all comes back to the central banks, Adam. It's the central banks and the fiat currency, and that is the control system that they use to debt enslave us. I mean, the amount of slavery, that the wealth they are extracting from humanity, and the control that they're exercising over it, is the central bank and taking us off the gold standard. And boy, you send me down some rabbit holes here, my friend.
No, I get it. But the thing that's kind of interesting is the people who, sort of per capita feel the strongest about these subjects are people with experience like yourself. And so on one hand, you go, well, some of this stuff sounds pretty crazy to the average American. On the other hand, who's more pragmatic than a Navy SEAL? Like, you're not a middle-aged housewife who believes her cat thinks he's a person and who wants to go get her fortune told. Like, so what you would say, so let's try to square this off for a second. I'm just going to break it down. You would go, a Navy SEAL. Okay, that has to be the most pragmatic person in the world. There are jobs that need pragmatists, airline pilot, construction engineer, they're jobs. Yeah. And then then there's the DEI counselor at the college. You know what I mean? She doesn't need to know anything or do anything. There's no consequence. There's no gravity. But Navy SEAL. Okay. Now, per capita, the Navy SEALs have more of the kind of thoughts you're sharing with me than the average superstitious housewife. So you go, well, how are the most pragmatic people in the world sharing ideas that seem, I don't know, tinfoil hatty to a lot of people? And then you go, well, one of the other components of being a Navy SEAL is traveling and seeing things and going to parts of the country where this stuff is playing out. It's not really playing out here. We have protests on college campuses and then everyone goes and eats, but we don't have real life and death shit playing out. So you have experience as a Navy SEAL. You go to these places where this stuff is in full effect, and you have a job, but you also have ears and eyes. So how do you square all this?
Well, and if I could add one thing to that, we also, especially since I've been out of the teams, I've been out of the SEAL teams for a long time, all my friends now have worked or are working at CIA, NSA, DIA,
BlackRock,
friends at SBS, SAS guys. We have all the people we communicate with and we work with globally are all like us, and they're all move on a lot of times to careers in government and in the intelligence agencies, and so we have connections. And so it's not just me traveling and what I think and my proclivities because of the kind of man I am, but it's that I know these people. I know people who are in the tactical operations center when Benghazi went down. I know the guy that was running that. I know people that were on the ground that got the stand down order and things like that. So when I tell people what really happened and they go to MSNBC and they say, well, no, that's not what really happened. I'm like, well, I know people that were there. Tell me about what Brian Stelter just told you. It's a very different way, a different you're seeing a very different part of the world.
You make a very good point, which is once they leave the team, they go into the sometimes private sector, but they go into that world as a continuation of what their experience and their expertise is, and then they get to be present when things go down. And then you're right. So you have, whatever on MSNBC, but then you actually have guys who are in the room when the shit did go down. And so
exactly,
you have a peek behind the curtain of what goes on, as well as a bunch of experience. And I never really I forgot about the part after the Navy SEALs where you were employed in that business. So what's your take on then? Is Trump present a threat to this? Why the crazy derangement syndrome with Trump?
I personally think that Trump is the outlier, and I think that what happened was that they had everything lined out. They had 8 years of Obama, and we were going into 8 years of Hillary Clinton, and Obama teed it up, and Hillary was going to take us into World War III, eliminate the Constitution, and because losers of wars, they get to be occupied, and there would have been some false flags, probably from North Korea. All the bad guys they set up on the TV are not the bad guys. So the TV says they're the bad guys, start questioning that. If they're hammering like Trump, that's just not necessarily the case. I think that the Five Eyes, the intelligence agencies, all the areas that the controlling entities of our world operate through, the central bank, the intelligence agencies, the military industrial complex, Eisenhower warned us about, JFK warned us about, all these power controls, Catholic Church, all these structures that develop in the world have been infiltrated and taken over because they've been recognized as power structures. And so the people that have been running this stuff for a very long time have infiltrated all of those, I believe, and taken control. And so when things come about and rise to some sort of prominence, they infiltrate and take control. So I think all the power structures that are happening right now have been infiltrated and taken control. And then you have the outlier. But then that doesn't mean that there weren't some good guys working behind the scenes. I don't know. Did you ever see a AMC series called Turn?
No.
It was on George Washington, and it was the spy ring he had during the Revolutionary War that actually turned the tide of the war and allowed us to win the Revolutionary War. It's phenomenal. Anyway, I think starting then, there was knowledge that these entities that control the City of London, the Vatican, the Washington, D.C., those three corporations that control everything through the spiritual, military, and banking arms, I think that they have, I'm going to get offed. I think that they have established these control structures and taken them over and have directed things very effectively. And now, but also there's still some good guys working behind the scenes that recognize these structures. And I think that Trump and all the people that are working with him and behind him, Trump's just the figurehead, have been putting things in place to counteract this move that these people have been putting in place for a very, very long time, which was the 16-year plan, the final 16-year plan of Obama and Hillary, because I think I personally believe the United States Constitution is the only thing that's really standing in the way of complete total world domination by the globalists. And so I think that Trump came in and surprised them. I think that Hillary was never supposed to lose, and I think that probably what happened is when Trump came in, they never thought that he was going to be able to do what he did, like all the other outliers that have tried, Ross Perot and throughout the years, but they were always everyone's always been controlled. There's another great book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which really goes to where this control structure is kind of started. But I think that that Trump came in, was the outlier. First, they didn't take him seriously because they're able to mitigate his first term. But I think now they're starting to really realize that this is probably going to be the destruction of their entire global system that they've been working on. Really, in the United States, they've been working on it since we started, but since 1913, and the Federal Reserve coming in and taking us off the gold standard and putting us on this fiat currency that we pay interest to borrow. That's not backed by anything. It's not real. They just print pieces of paper, and then we pay interest to borrow those pieces of paper. It's insanity, but it's starting to get exposed, and I think the exposure is going to take it down. So I think Trump is the good guys. I think we're in the middle of a most amazing psychological operation. It's World War III. It's a fifth generational war, which means it's a war of narratives played out by non-state actors. It's an information war. And I think that Trump and those guys are all exposing what is really the real structures of the world, not the ones we thought we've gone along with, that we thought, that our money really meant something, and that our government had our best interest in mind, and that the news was actually the news, and it was not all Tavistock controlled social conditioning. And so I think that we're in an exposure phase, and now we're starting to turn the ship around. I'm very positive about things, but
I am too. But let me ask you a couple specifics. And by the way, we'll get into the book. No, I'm interested because I'm like you. I'm trying to figure out what role does everyone play? Like when it came to COVID, we had a lot of useful idiots. And so the plan with COVID was scare all the housewives, and then all the housewives, once we scare the housewives, then they will control the kids, and they'll control the husband, and they'll control the protocols at the house, so they'll be in charge of liberal white women, and will scare the shit out of liberal white women who are always looking for a reason to be scared. By the way, they're always either scared or victims or powerful warriors. I've never seen. I don't know what day is it? Tuesday? So what? Are you a fucking oppressed victim today, or are you a queen Nubian warrior?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Are you paying for lunch, or am I opening the door?
Right.
I don't know.
So they toggle all over the place, but that's their thing. But they're useful idiots. I get it. And then there are the folks, there's Rachel Maddow. Now, she's getting paid, but I don't know what she believes. And then there's people like the Obamas who are secretly bad people that nobody thinks are bad people. They think, well, maybe we disagree on a few social subjects or something. They're race hustlers who are just making money and fucked up the country, but no one wants to say anything negative about them because that's a hate crime. But here's my question. If I got Michelle Obama and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, if I just got them all in the room and we tilted a few beers and we just laid our cards on the table, would they just explain that they hated this country and wanted money? Or would they say, no, what I'm doing is a good thing, and that's going to be our salvation? Like, what are they doing? Like, I get what the Black Rocks are doing, and I get what the big industrial military complex is doing. I'm trying to figure out, what's Obama? Does he love this country? Is he just want money?
Spiritual war, man.
What is he?
I think it's a spiritual war. I think we're really at the place where it's now. It's light and dark at this point. It's a spiritual war, and I think that the people controlling this, and some of the high people, including the Obamas, are very deep in some very dark stuff. I think this goes back to the cult of Moloch and Baal, and human sacrifice and cannibalism.
So we're going
real
full in on Epstein. Pizzagate, Epstein, everything.
Frazzle drip. Yep.
And so for people, it's weird because guys like me, almost here's the way I feel. I feel like the love of my life, the woman I've been married to for 30 years, is poisoning my oatmeal. And then I walk around and I go, man, I feel sluggish and I have a headache all day. And at some point, one of my friends goes, I think Michelle may be poisoning your oatmeal. And I go, get out of here. Get out of here. Were you kidding? Why would she want me to die? She loves me. You know what I mean? And at some point I go and I get a toxicology report from a doctor and he's like, we're finding strychnine in your, and I go, get out of here. What is in it for her? Why would she do this? We've been married for 30 years. I take care of her, She loves me. Well, she's poisoning your oatmeal. And I just go, I don't believe it. Why would she do this? So that's where I'm at with all of this stuff. I'm like, really? Pizzagate, pedophile? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's spiritual war is what I think it is. I think it's light and dark. I think we're at a very spiritual, very angels and demons kind of place, is my opinion, because it comes from, if you trace the people that are running this stuff back through the black nobility and the Rothschilds and all of them, those people, and the 13 bloodlines and stuff, it all goes back to the cult of Moloch and Baal, pre-Christian stuff, Sumerian stuff, child sacrifice and really ugly Old Testament stuff. And these people are still around.
So these are just modern manifestations of age-old cults, and so basically, all right, let me say this and tell me what you think of this statement. You go back and you look at these characters from the past. You could find a Hitler or Pol Pot or somebody like that, or Idi Amin or something that long ago, and then at some point you could go to Marquis de Sade or somebody, and you could go. So we all wrap our mind around evil from days of yore. This guy was a sadist and he killed for pleasure and whatever like that. And then you go, and now there's us in modern times. And then part of us goes, well, look, we have genes and we drive electric cars and we have air conditioning, so we're not like that anymore. But then you go, well, wait a minute, as a student of psychology and as a student of physiology, we haven't changed that much. I mean, it would stand to reason that there are evil people that just walk amongst us. Just because it's 2025 doesn't mean that was bred out of us in the last 1,000 years. Why wouldn't there be evil people around, or people that do want power and whatever? And that's kind of your summation, right?
That's what I think. I've gone down a lot of rabbit holes. I've read a lot of books. I know a lot of people that are in high places in various governments around the world. And in special operations forces, obviously, around the world, that have seen and done a lot of things. And so I've gotten a lot of inside information, and I've also, really sacrificed a lot in my life for the pursuit of truth and understanding what's really going on for my own development. I want to be the most powerful and most developed human I can while I'm in this meat suit. And so that means that my ego's got to take some hits while I grow, And I think what we're really running into, you were talking about some of the brainwashed people and such. I think at this point, like you're talking about, my wife's poison, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Well, in order to really wake up to what's actually happening in the world, both what we really are as human beings and the state, the real political state of the organization of our world, is it's an ego confrontation. You can have your ego or you can have the truth. And one of the things, and the Obamas were masters of this, is that whole narrative through the mainstream media and all that tells you you're good, you're the smart ones. We have to take care of those dumb rubes that won't wear masks and don't understand that the Republicans are all racist bigots and stuff. And so it feeds an ego, and they feel like they're good people by not having to do anything. They don't have to really be good people. They don't have to confront their own shadows. They have to just do what the TV tells them, and they're good people. And so then to confront any truth that might be different than what the TV tells them, now it shines a light on their, maybe I'm not good. Maybe I'm not the smart one. Maybe I am actually brainwashed. And that, to be able to face even the merest possibility of that, is a savage blow to the ego. And as you know, our ego will kill the host before it'll allow itself to be threatened. And so I think that's what the roadblock we're running into with a lot of people.
I think it's also two-parters. It's a sort of past and a present, which is, if we go back and examine what it is you were wrong about and have been wrong about for the last decade, let's just say, then, and we establish you were wrong about a lot of it, well, that's the past, and that's an ego blow. But then there's the future, such as, why should we listen to you when you were wrong about all this stuff? So if you are going to prognosticate sports gambling, and you got the last 7 Super Bowls wrong, and now you want to make an announcement, well, then we're not listening because you're the guy who's wrong about all this stuff. And you go, but I make my living calling the Super Bowl. And we go, yeah, but we're not going to listen to you because you were wrong about all this stuff. So it's bad for business. So what you should do is never admit you've lost the Super Bowl, even though we know you lost the last 10 Super Bowls, but you make a living announcing who's going to win the next Super Bowl. So that's why none of the news outlets are doing anything or saying anything, because they would be essentially ruining their franchise.
Absolutely. But then sometimes they can't help it. Like Jake Tapper just wrote this book on how they were able to cover up Joe Biden's decline. Well, go back and look at Jake Tapper calling people out for mentioning anything about Joe Biden might have a cognitive issue, and then people don't notice. That's the thing that's crazy. This was just a couple of years ago, and nobody remembers that.
No. Well, people. Look, here's the problem. People have a horrible memory when it comes to them being wrong in the past. They 100%. Have horrible memories when it comes to them being incorrect in the past.
That's the ego protecting itself. Yep.
Yes, and not only do they have bad memories, they have reconstructive memories. Yeah. They remember them smelling like a rose instead of being stinking wrong. And I've had it happen, and I also realized that it's not necessarily lying. I had an incident where I was up on stage and I made a joke up on stage in front of a live audience. And my on-air partner at the time said, I made that joke. And I said, no, you were there, but it was my joke. And he said, no, I made that joke. Educated person and a good person. I said, well, the good news is it was a live podcast. We taped it, so we'll find the tape. And we listened back to it, and he said, go get the tape. Go get the tape. Well, I said it. He didn't say it. But he was 1,000% convinced he said it. Now, the reason he thought he said it is because it was funny. And he wishes he said it, but he didn't. But he wasn't lying. He was sober, and it was like 6 months ago. Yes.
Yes. Your ego comes in, and the ego, its main job. The ego's main job is to protect you and protect itself.
I agree.
As our ego.
I agree, and I hate to cut you off, but I deal with guys who are guys like Dr. Drew, and they have a lot of integrity.
Just on his show, he's great.
Oh, good. Now, his thing is I would like to get smarter and better, so tell me when I'm wrong. I don't want my ego shielding me. I want to be exposed to this so I can have some growth. Now,
that's a strong man.
It makes sense to me. Don't we want to get better? Would we like to continue being incorrect in perpetuity, or would we like to expose ourselves to a little bit of headwinds? And once in a while, by the way, when you get used to it, your ego doesn't. It's not a big deal to be wrong, especially if you hang around with smart people, because smart people have a high batting average. And so there are people that go, tell me about this. I want to learn about it, and tell me what I got wrong. But it is not the default setting for human beings, and they fight. It's almost violently to protect this thing that doesn't count. It doesn't cost anything. There's nothing attached to it. And yet they dig in and they really hunker down.
Yeah, like Morpheus said in The Matrix, he said most people are so inured to this matrix, they will fight to the death to protect the very thing that's enslaving them.
Yes.
Because it's the comfort. Yeah.
So you go, all right, so it's a perfect storm of scared white women and people on MSNBC and CNN and whomever that are carrying, maybe big pharma is advertising enough where they have themes they have to get into and things like that. Then there's sort of Elon Musk, who's a disruptor, who buys Twitter, and then they all go nuts because he's buying a platform that they were using to push false information on people and take down accurate information by people who disagreed with them. And that's why, by the way, why so threatened? You know what I mean? It's like Elon Musk bought Twitter. Okay, so what? Let him do whatever he wants on it. You want to go on?
Other people say they're not going to censor people.
Right.
Why is that a problem?
Right. And then why do you need to appoint a czar of accuracy and mis and disinformation if you're not handing out mis and disinformation? It
seems obvious.
It seems very apparent to guys like you and I why they're. It's essentially, here's the example I use. Cop pulls you over. You know what I mean? Hey, can you pop the trunk? I want to check, see what's in the trunk. There's nothing in the trunk, officer. Good, then pop it. Let me take a. No, you can't. No, I'm going to need my lawyer. Well, is there anything in the trunk? No, there's nothing. Okay, then pop the trunk. Let me have it. Nope, just road flares and a scissor jack. Well, then pop the trunk. I'm not going to pop the trunk. It's like, okay, pardon me, but now I think there's something in the trunk.
Yeah.
And you guys protesting over everything all the time makes me kind of wonder, are you really into free speech? Because every time someone starts talking about free speech or actually practicing free speech, you try to tear them down.
Yeah, 100%. It's a sad place that we're at, but I think that we're righting the ship, so to speak. So I hope that things still continue on the path that they seem to be.
Well, I agree. So, sorry, I didn't get into your book.
No, it's no big deal.
No, but I want to tell people. Listen, I'm with you. I've done a few things in my life. You ready?
Yeah. Fire.
Okay. All right. I tell people all the time, look, somebody's house is going to get robbed or ransacked or looted or something. Let's just make the guys go across the street and not have it be your house. You know, you're not going to build Fort Knox or Hitler's bunker. You're just going to make it a little more difficult. And I've told people a million times, when I had a car stereo in my truck, I painted it brown. It was a Sony digital car stereo, and I spray painted it brown, the color of the dash. And I didn't do a good job either. And everyone said to me, why did you do that? And I said, to make it less attractive to steal. And I lived in LA, and this is in the 80s, and everyone got their truck broken into, and everyone got their stereo stolen, but not me. I parked in Hollywood, on the streets of Hollywood. I got my truck stolen 2 times. I got it back because I put a fuel cutoff switch on it under the bench seat. So that was easy. Nice. And for about $1.75, I kept my truck and I kept my stereo because I just did the 2 things that I knew would work in terms of getting the car stolen or getting the stereo stolen. I didn't build a cage around my truck. I made it unattractive for them to do this. And that's essentially what you can do at home, right?
Yes, absolutely. I cover a lot of that in my book. It's not about, like you said, you don't want to build a fortress that's it seems impregnable. Well, there's something they're protecting in there. I want to be, we call it in buds, when we go back to SEAL training, when students come through, there would be students that would come through, and then you'd be sitting at graduation as an instructor, and you'd be nudging your buddy like, you remember that guy up there? I'm like, I don't recognize that guy at all. He's graduating. Well, we put him through training. I don't remember him. We call those the gray men. The gray men are the guys that go through training with your eyes just slide over the top of them. They're never at the top and they're never at the bottom, but they don't get any attention, because in buds, if you're the best guy, that gets a lot of attention. You're going to get extra attention from the instructor staff, which is never a good thing. And if you're in the bottom, you're going to get all kinds of remediation, and that's a very bad thing. But to be the guy that makes it through training without any extra attention from the buds instructor staff is the way you want to do it. That's the easiest way to get through training. And that's what you want to do with your house. You want your house to be the one your eyes just slide right over. There's nothing in there of value. There's no reason, nothing attractive there. You want your place to be not examined for, that's pretty impregnable. That guy's done a great job of, making it unattractive. We want it to not even be noticed.
Yeah.
Just like your camouflage dash radio.
Yeah. Well, it was unsellable after I painted it brown. Paint your house gray, everybody. A Navy SEALs Bug-In Guide is the name of the book. Joel, we'll have to have you back, and we'll talk conspiracy theories for as long as
I'd love to. It's good stuff. It's more people are waking up. It's great.
I completely concur. Joel, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm sorry to hear about your house. I'm there all the time. My girl was in the Alphabet Street, so all her stuff was gone.
It's in one piece. I just can't go back. But
well, that's good.
Yeah.
But
thanks, Joel. Appreciate it, brother. Then thanks for your service as well. All right. I'm going to be doing shows March 14th, 15th, 16th. Desert Ridge Improv, doing stand-up there in Phoenix. And Dawson's going to pop in and say hi. He's going to have some good people there having a good time. So come on out and say hi. We added a show on Sunday, so that sounds like fun. I want to thank Nick Davis for coming in here. Combat Buddy is the name of his YouTube show, and Joel Lambert as well. And until next time, this is Adam for Nick and Joel and Mayhem saying mahalo.